If anybody at all is monitoring me who has any sense and who doesn't just parrot the genocide faction in media, I can explain a few things about what happened. The evidence of Wattenmaker being at Attica State Prison shows that the MK Ultra system was in place so that the wardens of the penitentiaries could force American children into playgrounds into drug complicity with nowhere to turn for the purposes of a genocide called AIDS. And the NAACP cooperated and enforced this in the name of media representation of tokens. For example, the way they chose me was I was a white. And Wattenmaker was Jewish, but he chose me as a white, so that they could pull this kind of mentality system. And what they all agreed on, Greg Carl used to say, Jimmy's going to perform for us. And Jagger and Brecker talked a lot about performance. And the German lady from Lifelong Psychology introduced the topic of performativity. So what they're doing is they're squeezing the merchandise. They squeeze the merchandise of Maui as a challenge for the queer ball to give its testimony, or else. They squeeze the merchandise in Strongville, Ohio, to show the queer ball's sympathies. This monstrosity is Britain, Russia, and Trump, of course, the usual people in psychopathy of human affairs. But it's important to understand that the American mission is to surmount the travesty of Israeli special relationship that allowed Bernard Wattenmaker to get away with poisoning a little boy and torturing him and making him an advertisement for the justice of pornographic genocide. I mean, what's just about pornographic genocide? It doesn't make any sense. It's psychopathic. But the fact that Lenin was the leader, and the evidence shows he pulled a Houdini, he was one of the cunning people in charge of the operation. The fact that Lenin was involved shows that the idea was to make the victims victims of themselves. In other words, somebody induces you, shoves a reefer stick in your pockets, and you had it coming, you better know who to perform for, sonny. It's Godfather politics from Hollywood, Access Hollywood. And they basically said that anybody who doesn't pass the drug test deserves to die and be assassinated in the crematoriums of the entertainment lobbies, performance art. So the hybrid station is being fluxed to a psychological artificial intelligence circuit of psychological prediction of the attack object. It's an attack on the United States of America. But I'm just a stand-in for the theme and theory that American is a civilized species of commonwealth. And it's being abolished in the name of the supremism of those who can consider themselves the puppet masters. Like these sneaky, stinking ripper backstabbers from Great Britain. Ugh. Really sneaky, stinking. They would lewdly revel in themselves as plucking the strings of those who lick their hands and live only to serve them. You know, the poison and the malice in the brains of King Crimson. You know, the vermilion poetry that runs through their psyches. You know what I'm talking about if you have any exposure to those Hitlerian bums. But they come up with the idea of a Fluxus artificial intelligence. This comes from the Crowhagrid Gooster, their warlordess, their lady of wool. The Crowhagrid Gooster, she came up with this idea of a Fluxus AI, and they'd suck performativity into things like TikTok to mirror the psyche of the interrogation object. And the mirror of the psyche syndrome is, of course, loudly proclaimed to be evidence of the deteriorating European's IQ. The deteriorating European has a low IQ.